Whisper ASM. Hello, 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 and welcome to another video. Today we're going to do some dot connecting or drawing star signs from imagination. I don't know the real star signs, but anyways, we're gonna do some drawing. I already made some dots and stars on the paper, and we're going to connect them together and see what comes up. I'm trying to fix my microphone setup. As you know, if you're an older viewer, I have fancied this mic cover windshield from an old sock, and I realized that it doesn't work as a windshield or as a pop filter, so to speak. It doesn't block the airflow that well, so I tried looking for more like foam material to test if this works better, and I think it does. I think it actually now blocks some more sound. I filled the sock with cotton, the woolly cotton thing. In Finnish it's pumpuli. And I think it works so much better than before, but you let me know if you like this like this more, because I tend to blow air through my nose and laugh and let the air flow, and it quite often makes an unpleasant like wind pop sound. So now this is a test, and since this seems to be working, I will eventually make a proper purchase and buy a suitable foam cover for my Blue Yeti. I have difficulty finding a suitable windshield for this one because it's quite a lot bigger than a regular microphone from Bröde or some other company. But anyways, let's get on with connecting the dots. There, I think this is it. Let's try if the focus is. It's fine. I guess it's the best that we can do now. But as you can see, there are some bigger stars here, some smaller stars that also have some shape to them, but most of the stars here are just, so far, they're just dots, and probably even so small that you can't see them properly. distance, but very not. I will guide them from here. I guess we should start with maybe these ones. There are 3 little dots that resemble Orion's belt. It is one of the few constellations. Is that the word, constellation? And that I know. Well, that didn't stick. Let's place it there. And if I remember correctly, Orion's belt resembles an hourglass. There. And we can connect these dots. My aim is a bit off, but no matter. There. Here in the middle are the 3 tiny dots that make the belt for the Orion. Let's connect this one there and the final line there. It is a bit wobbly, but no matter. The shapes that we can see between the stars, they can be wobbly, at least in my mind. I saw a familiar shape earlier over there. I think it looks like a little scoop, and as some of you know, the scoop shape is known, I believe it's in Finnish it's karhu, iso karhu and pikku karhu, which is big bear and small bear. But my scoop is a bit different, but I think it's close enough. Close enough, close enough. I am not that familiar with the constellations, so we are going to find our own from now on. Let's connect this dot to this one. We can make a line, and they could connect maybe to this one. There's a bigger star here that probably isn't part of this constellation. It might be something that is in front of them. We can connect this kind of shape is it forming out to be? Maybe it has a tail over there. It could form into an arrow. It might be a bit bigger. Let's find if this can connect to this one. Yes, it can. And this can connect to there. I think that's this one over here connects to this star also. So it might make some kind of figure. The constellations that are found in astrology have the names of different animals, or they are symbolized with animals. I think it takes a wonderful imagination to be able to see all those animals, the ox and a hare or rabbit, however you want to call them, or the fish, Pisces, an archer, a ram, or is it called Aries? There are so many different ones, and I occasionally get confused with the Chinese horoscopes and the other ones, the regular ones to us, to me, that are the Sagittarius and such. They're the ones that we can read in our magazines. The Chinese constellations, they're different and they have a different system, in my understanding. And I actually have this tattoo that is based on a necklace, so it isn't written correctly. It is connected in parts that shouldn't be connected, but I wanted it made based on the necklace that I had, so that it would be a bit different from everyone else's. And it is the sign of rabbit, because rabbit, or a fire rabbit, is my sign in Chinese horoscopes. I used to read about it when I was a teenager, and I related to it quite a bit back then. Here are 3 dots that can form a triangle. But yeah, I used to have a strong urge to find mysticism and divinity, so to speak, in the world. So I read a bunch of books about Zen Buddhism and shamanism and occult and ancient Finnish religion. Yeah. And I found some peace with myself back then. It gave me a lot to think about, or more like it gave me a peace of mind. And I think it was necessary back then, because I was not at peace with the world around me. I didn't like the world that I lived in. I can't say that I love it now, but such is my mind. But anyways, I am not anymore that into religions and mysticism, so to speak, or mythology, because I found that it doesn't, what's the word, match with the world that I live in, so it kept me sort of divided. It kept me focused in something that no one else in my vicinity understood or thought the same way. So one could say it's slightly like a self-induced psychosis. Slightly like that. But I spent years of my life as a younger boy living in a way, alternate reality. I wanted to see things differently. I didn't want to think that this is it, this is the world. But then I found beauty in the simplicity and the realism, and realized that whatever is real is not dependent on my belief. If I stop believing in something and it doesn't stop existing, then that is real. If you get my drift. I'm not sure if I can explain myself. And I guess I don't really need to, but those were my thoughts back then. Back then, I really have a tendency to fall into deep rabbit holes and take you with me to the sewers of my mind. count yourself lucky that you weren't talking with me 20 years ago. I made no sense back then, and I hope I make at least some sense to some people nowadays. Anyways, how are you guys doing? I hope you're doing good. And if you're not, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to share what you're going through? The comment section is open for all random things that you want to talk about. Let's make a triangle here. I think it would be fun to do a real connect the dots picture. Do they make more difficult ones for adults? It would be fun to connect the dots and actually be amazed about what comes out of it. That made a triangle also, even though it has 4 dots. So it is not a perfect triangle. It's actually an imperfect square. Because it has 4 corners. Did you guys like math in school? I did. I was a weird kid. Well, I guess that doesn't make me weird, but I think it's normal that we like the things or subjects in school that are easy to us, that we're good at, because it does wonders to our self-esteem. I'm trying to, it seems like it says something. Ori. Iori. Yeah. Math always sort of clicked for me, and because they are problems, I like solving problems. Finding solutions, understanding why something turns into something, or how the functions work. And I quite often became very frustrated in my mind when I didn't get something right away and I was wrong about something. If I saw that my answer was different from the correct answer, it made me furious. I was angry and I wanted to understand why it doesn't work and what is the correct way. And that drove me, that's a wobbly line, drove me to study harder or solve the problems more efficiently. efficiently. I didn't exactly study hard. Well, anything in school. I don't have the attention span for that. I always only read the headlines, for example in biology or environmental studies or societal studies or history or those. I always only read the headlines, and there was a small, what's the word, sort of briefing about the chapter. Those few lines, those were the only things that I managed to read for tests. And whatever I listened in class, that was my basis for going to tests. And I managed. It was fine. I wasn't great at the subjects that required more reading because I just couldn't. If I wasn't interested in it, I couldn't keep my focus in it. And that is something that I've had all my life. If I don't find something at least a little bit interesting, I just cannot keep myself focused on it. But the subjects that I did enjoy were arts and English and mathematics, and sort of in high school I got into chemistry and physics and somewhat into societal studies. I think it's societal studies, yhteiskuntaoppi, and so studies about society. So I call them societal studies. It, yeah, teaches the basics of how society works, like taxes and money systems and governmental things, and how cities function and infrastructure and such. Yeah, the basics. But yeah, those were my main or my favorite subjects in school. After that, my studying was more on the, is it vocational school, where you focus on the more career focused studies and subjects. And I am a practical nurse, so, and I have focused on mental health and addictions or drug abuse. And how to treat them, not how to abuse drugs. But yeah, in Finland, as a practical nurse, you can focus on sort of mental health and drug abuse that are connected under one line that you can take, or a course, or a specialization. That's the word. You specialize in something, or you could go focus on the elderly or the specialise in, and I specialised in mental health. And up to that, I have gotten my degree. It's erikoisammattitutkinto, which is like extra specialization in mental health and drug abuse. Yeah. So I'm really focused on it in school. But nowadays, I cannot work in that field because it was a rough couple of years and I burned out. So now I will focus on getting myself better and try to find a new field to go on my own, or that I could work in without completely losing hope in life. This into another weird ramble on my part. Sorry, but I hope you don't mind. I hope it gives you something to relate to. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe it does. Hope for the best, hope for the best. This seems to be our star map, our skyline of constellations. Whatever you want to call it, it seems to be where we ended up today. But sorry, burp. Anyways, I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope that this cotton-filled sock works as a windshield for the microphone. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.